It's Anthony Brown, and I'm here with a little bit of Spirulina. We have our seed culture here. So I originally started this culture from a little culture that I got in the mail. And you can start your seed cultures in recycled glass bottles if you want. That's really efficient. I just have this flask and it looks cool. But with your seed cultures, you don't need a pump or anything like that. You can just stir them around a few times a day to keep them agitated, and then they'll grow nice and green, and you can add them into a 1-gallon photobioreactor. We're using what's known as polyfill for a filter here. They can breathe without stuff falling inside of it, so they can take in their carbon dioxide and respire their oxygen. The Spirulina are cyanobacteria. They're some of the first organisms that develop photosynthesis. Spirulina, I'm not sure if they were actually the first, but the group of cyanobacteria were the first organisms to develop photosynthesis. So they're like plants, but they're not. They're bacteria. So it's pretty cool. Very high in protein, that's why I grow them. So yeah, I started my seed culture here. You'll get a little vial usually, and you can start it in a little bit of water in the medium that I'm going to show you how to make. So yeah, I took my seed culture, I just put it into a 1-gallon photobioreactor, and then I'll be taking this 1 gallon into 5 gallons. I could take this 1 gallon into 10 gallons, but I'm just going to do 5 gallons for now, just to make sure my culture stays nice and strong as I prepare to take it outside this winter. This spring. Sorry, just getting a little caught up. Thought my pH, my whole set of pH got wet. So yeah, we'll just talk about pH since that came up. We have these pH test strips, these litmus strips. We're going to want to make sure that our water is above 8 on the pH scale there, because the spirulina likes high pH, and that's one of the reasons why it's easier to cultivate than the other microalgae, because not a lot of other things are going to want to grow in there at that high pH. But just to be sure, you're going to want to take your spirulina to community college or something like that every now and then to see if you can get it tested under a microscope. And all you're just going to want to do is look for green spirals only. You don't want any other organisms living in there besides your green spirals. So yeah, you can raise the pH in your water with baking soda, sodium bicarbonate. It will add some of the carbon necessary for the spirulina to grow. They'll get the rest of the carbon from any CO2 that goes through your pump. That's why I grow my spirulina inside my mushroom grow rooms, because there's a large amount of CO2 in there from the mushrooms growing. So they get their CO2 from the air pump there. If you're growing large amounts of CO2, some people will add CO2 that people would add into like drinks or something into the water. If you live up in New York, in Saratoga Springs, the spring water there is perfect. It has minerals in it. It's wonderful, and some of it comes out carbonated, which the spirulina would love. So that's very wonderful. You just have to raise the pH on it to get it to a nice pH, and you can grow your spirulina right in there. So yeah, spirulina is a superfood. That's why we grow it. It's high in protein, has lots of nutrients and vitamins and complex variety of minerals. But it won't have all those things if you don't provide it with the building blocks that it needs. So you're going to want to provide it with a full spectrum of nutrients. Most plants need nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium to grow. Not most plants, all plants need nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium to grow. So we're going to give it the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, but we're also going to give it the microelements, a wide range of elements. I was using this Orchid Pro, which I can show you here. The Orchid Pro has the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, and it also has a wide range of the elements in there. But I didn't want to use this anymore. I wanted to have a little bit more control over what I was putting in there. So I got some raw soluble nutrients from my local hydroponic store. If you want to grow them organic, there are a few options which I'm looking into, and I'll release videos once I have more information on them. We're going to be looking into growing spirulina on wastewater from breweries, as well as some of the liquid effluent that comes out of biodigesters. So once I have more information on that, I'll get that out to you guys. But for now, we're going to be growing them on these inorganic minerals, which, inorganic, if you're really hard set on organic, you can wait till I release the other videos. But these organisms are the organisms that actually convert inorganic materials into organic materials way before there were these photosynthesizing organisms. The bacteria were the only things that were actually taking minerals and inorganic materials and making organic matter. And then the photosynthesizing organism just took it to a whole new level whenever they took up the organic minerals as well as photosynthesizing the light and creating complex carbohydrates and things like that. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to give them inorganic nutrients and minerals, and they're going to create the organic complex materials that we want to put into our bodies. So we have the nitrogen here. This is an ammoniacal nitrogen, which the spirulina will love to take up very well. Then we have some calcium and magnesium, which also has a little bit of nitrate nitrogen, which the spirulina will also take up very well. It also has the calcium and magnesium to help give it a nice structure. And then we have our phosphorus and potassium here, which you can also find all of this at your hydroponic store. And I picked this one because it has B vitamins in it, so that's really good. The spirulina will use those B vitamins as well. We have some of these ionic sulfate minerals, which contains the chelated iron that's necessary for the chlorophyll production. Chlorophyll, like hemoglobin, needs iron. So we're going to add this wide complexity of minerals that's derived from black mica. You can also get minerals that are derived from sea salt. We're also going to use a little bit of the Ormus to provide the elements that we want. Ormus, also known as Ormes, is an acronym for orbitally rearranged monoatomic elements. We have it in this EMF bag, or a static bag, to protect it from electricity. It's very sensitive. These are just one atom, just single atom elements here. I like to think of them as precursor elements because they actually will change, or what's the word I'm thinking? They'll change into other elements under certain conditions. So we're going to use these for our source of elements. So I've already added the nutrients into our 5-gallon jug here, and I'll just give you guys some shots as I put the Ormus in and add our culture of spirulina. Alright guys, so we have a 5-gallon jug here that we're going to be introducing spirulina into. If I didn't say before, we just add about 1/8 teaspoon per gallon of the nitrogen and 1/16 teaspoon of the calcium magnesium, and we added 1 teaspoon per 5 gallons of the phosphorus and potassium mix. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead and add a little bit of these Ormus elements now. Let them mix into the solution there. And these Ormus elements are going to make our spirulina extra nutrient rich for us. Just give it a nice mix. Spirulina is going to enjoy having this in there. Give it a nice mix. Looks pretty good. We're going to take our 1-gallon culture here. We're going to give that a nice mix. We're going to go ahead and add it in there. It's a wonderful color. Full of chlorophyll, phycocyanin. Also has some fair amount of beta carotene. If I'm not mistaken, the highest amount of beta carotene on the planet. Oh, that's where the densest part of it is. Nice and dark in there. Make sure I get all that in there. There you have it, guys. Now we're just going to take our polyfill here. Take a little paper towel or a napkin or something. Make sure you clean off the top first. Put the rigid airline tube, or just you can use a regular airline. You can use an air stone if you want. Just make sure it's in a corner somewhere so it keeps the circulation of the water. And then just take another polyfill, just fill in the lid there.